welcome back to the Have It Their Way Day podcast. In today's episode, we're going to continue our Strange Coffee Origin series, and we're going to be talking about coffee from Thailand. And today I'm joined by Henry. I'm one of the baristas at Third Wave. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive on in. So today we're going to be talking about coffee from Thailand, and we actually have some coffee from Thailand. We got this from Burman Coffee Traders. This coffee is called Sampoi. It's specifically imported with Lana Coffee Group. So I actually have never seen or had coffee before from Thailand. So I was really excited to taste it. I brewed it up, and then we've been drinking it a little bit, but can just give some thoughts on what we think about it, and then later on we'll talk about why we don't typically see coffee from Thailand, and then give our thoughts about like the future of coffee in Thailand, because I'm definitely excited for seeing more coffees come out of Asia, like I mentioned in a previous episode. So yeah, what did you think so far? It is a natural process. I forgot to mention that, but
yeah, it's not as bright as I thought it was going to be. Typically when I think of like lighter roast coffee, I think of fruit and super acidic, but it's actually like super good. It's not like it just has a well balanced flavor. Nothing really pops out, but it's still like super tasty.
Yeah, it's and then it also could be obviously brewing. I've had this coffee 4 times now, and they've all been pretty similar to this. I've used like V60, used a Seraphim at the shop, and then I just made it on a Kalita Wave right then, right before this episode started. And yeah, I mean, like it's more like chocolatey with some fruit. I wouldn't say it's like super fermented. But it does have some blueberry flavor with like some chocolate, a little bit like of spice, kind of like you'd expect with like other like Asian coffees, like if you have coffee from India or coffees from like Indonesia, like Sumatra or other coffees like that. This is kind of like that, just as a natural process. It makes it a little bit more interesting than a lot of like the wet hulled coffees you'd see from Sumatra. So
it has a nice body to it. The flavor seems to like last on my tongue for a while, even after I swallow it.
Yeah. I as it cools, I am getting more fruit. It's but yeah, it's like overall, it's a really solid coffee, and I'm definitely excited that we were able to find some coffee from Thailand. And actually, Henry is actually 50% Thai, so of course I was like, "Hey Henry, hey, do you want to be in this episode?" And he was of course down. So we're gonna go through some history about Thailand. I actually didn't know very much about Thailand at all. I actually researched for this video and got to know a lot more about Thailand as a country, and it's actually very fascinating history. We'll go over some stuff, but definitely if you're really into culture and history, I think you should give it a couple of videos on YouTube, or you can read some different stuff online about it. But yeah. It's one of the few countries that, especially in Southeast Asia, that never was colonized, which is really interesting because most areas around them were all being colonized, but they never actually were under any colonization, although they were under partial Japanese rule during World War II, where they were the Japanese came into the country, and then they basically they were friendly, but they were basically a puppet nation at that point under Japan during World War II, which is much better off than a lot of the countries that were surround Thailand, and like how Japan treated them. So the Thai people originated from China in Yunnan province in 1050 AD. So they migrated down to the area that would be eventually known as the Kingdom of Siam, or now Thailand as we know it. It's got a lot of different people groups rolled into one. It's a very diverse country as far as that, and that's where a lot of the culture, you can see different aspects of it there, as far as religion, and architecture and everything. A lot of it that comes from India, so mainly their main religion is Buddhism. With some Muslim and Christians, and different Christians are in the north and some Muslims in the south, but it's a very diverse country, kind of like a melting pot. It was established actually in 1238. So Bangkok was a pivotal point of trade with India and China. That's why Thailand has the largest percentage of Han Chinese out of any other nation in the world. So that makes up actually 14% of the population. And then actually the nation of Siam was actually larger than the modern country of Thailand is now, but they got into a war with Burma, and then they lost a considerable amount of their land to Burma. And then another thing that is interesting with like it being a melting pot and stuff is like they actually, with all that trade with India, they actually are they took in a lot of like Buddhism beliefs, and they actually are one of the most religious countries in the world, with 87.6% of their country being active Buddhist. They are heavily influenced by India, even throughout their architecture and their policies, and also with their religion. So
yeah, and on Buddhism, with Buddhism being the number one religion, my mom, who immigrated from Thailand at 19, she was Buddhist, and she still is Buddhist today, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of played a big part in my life because when I grew up with my mom, I grew up traditionally Buddhist. And so, like, growing up Buddhist for the first few years of my life, like, being exposed to Christianity, I think something that was big for me was seeing, like, the resurrection of Christ.
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 15:14 says, like, if there's no resurrection, then our faith is in vain, our preaching is in vain. And so I look at that and I'm like, oh, like, Jesus rising from the dead, like, sets him apart from most, for all other religions, and the prophets and whatnot. And so that was really big for me, and I think it's really big for Christian missionaries that go to Thailand to talk with those who are Buddhists, just to hit on, like, the resurrection of Christ.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's an interesting, like, way of looking at, like, how you, as a Christian, can go into a country and like learn how you can be an effective in spreading like the gospel and be able to communicate to people. That's like I was a missions major at Liberty, so like we studied that as far as like looking at like in one country you might do it one way and another country look at a different way. So like depending on if you're having like an honor shame culture or like a guilt innocence culture, then you would use different methods to be able to share the gospel with different people. So yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, and on that note, when it comes to sharing the gospel and like it's different like in China versus Thailand, I think it's important to know like what are the Thai people like, what's their culture like, what are they dealing with? It's called the land of 1,000 smiles, so they're always happy and they're always smiling and joyous or whatnot. But if you look at Thai culture, like it's infused with sex trafficking, pollution, and just really poor living conditions. So I think it's important to know that, like, hey, like what are they dealing with? Let's go there and kind of meet them where they're at, if we're going to be cliche, and bring them the gospel, bring them like true joy and true hope, so they can really smile.
That's awesome. So now we're actually going to talk about coffee in Thailand, and it's like actually has a pretty cool way that actually came to Thailand. A lot of different countries, like when coffee was spreading from like Indonesia and from Ethiopia and from Yemen, as it was moving through ports and stuff, there's a lot of really cool history. And Thailand actually has a story that's kind of like that. In 1904, there was a traveler, and he was going to Mecca, and he traveled through Thailand to get to Mecca, and then on his way back, he passed through Indonesia, picked up a coffee plant, and then he planted it in Thailand. And so that was actually the first time that coffee was in Thailand. Although it wasn't really commonly grown back then, it's just, some people grew it as like just a way to like some people grew it like just as a way to have coffee in that area, but overall it was mainly Robusta. It wasn't very high quality. They didn't export it all the way until the 70s, which is actually, there was a lot of people growing opium back and before the 70s. The Rural Project was actually started in 1969. And that was actually to help farmers switch from growing opium to coffee. Wow. And it actually was a really effective way of getting the villagers to have a way of having income, but also get them away from having drugs in these villages. And after that, coffee actually became a major crop at that point, and also started being exported into the 70s, like I said earlier. So it wasn't until 1976 that they started exporting coffee. And so back then it was mainly Robusta, wasn't very high quality. It wasn't, like specially graded like the one that we had from like Lana. But yeah, they still at least started to grow it. And then, so fast forward till now, the coffee does taste very similar to, Indian coffee. I mean, like, have you had Indian coffee before?
I haven't actually.
No. I mean, you've had Sumatran coffees and stuff. Yeah. So like,
I've had Sumatra.
Yeah. Everyone's had Sumatra. Sumatra's the second largest exporter of coffee in the world. But yeah.
I love Sumatra.
Yeah.
Aged Sumatra's great.
Oh, aged Sumatra's really, really something. If you like, burlap taste. And
It's Steve's favorite too.
Oh yeah, Steve Kim. Shout out to Steve Kim. He loves aged Sumatran coffee.
Bourbon barrel.
Yeah, if anyone wants to buy him a bag, that's his favorite. He's one of our baristas for those that don't know. They're now fast forwarding all the way to present day after 1976. Started exporting. Now they're the fourth largest coffee producer after, like I said earlier, I didn't know that. So Indonesia is the second largest producer in the world. They're the largest one in Asia. And then there's China and Vietnam that are above Thailand. But yeah, they're the fourth largest, which is actually pretty crazy considering we've never had coffee from Thailand. And they produce 500,000 bags, which are 150 pounds each year. And yet, in America, there's not much access to coffee from Thailand. And I was looking into why that is, why is it when there is good coffee coming out of the country, and it's where is it actually going, and also why can I have access to coffee from a country like Zambia? Zambia produces 2,000 bags, 150 pounds each, and they produce 500,000, and yet I can find lots of Zambia coffee right now, but this is the only coffee I could find from Thailand at all that I could buy at all right currently. So yeah, it was kind of interesting. Have you? And you've said you've never had it. But have you ever seen anyone feature coffee from Thailand?
No, so I've never had it. I remember I had a conversation with a barista up at Blue Bottle in DC back in December actually, and I was wearing a Thailand shirt, and he's like, "Thai coffee, it's really good," and I was like, I didn't even know we had brew coffee there, and I was like, "Thanks, man." So I kind of shout out to the barista from Blue Bottle.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool when you get to experience coffee from a different country, and especially a country that your family's Thai.
Yeah, I love it.
I definitely think it's always good to experience anything new in coffee in general. So if you can find coffee from Thailand, let us know, because I'm definitely interested in seeing more coffee from Thailand in the U.S. and I think that there is potential with how much they're growing, and with them growing more Arabica. There's definitely potential for them to for it to start spreading into the specialty coffee industry. They have a similar climate as obviously to the surrounding countries. So it wouldn't be too far fetched to start seeing some high quality coffee coming out alongside coffee from Yunnan, which is right northeast of where coffee grows in Thailand, and as now we're seeing lots of coffee from Yunnan coming into America. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see, and I would love to feature coffee. I said before, we on the previous episode, we have no issue with ever featuring coffee from any country. It's just about how does the coffee taste, and does it have an interesting story, and who are we supporting by buying this coffee, or or making sure the farmers are being paid fairly and stuff. Yeah. So maybe in the future we'll have some coffee from Thailand.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm definitely looking at having some coffee from China in the future, and it'd be interesting to have more coffees representing Southeast Asia. So yeah, that'd be awesome. So I mentioned earlier, our coffee is from Lana. It's Sampoi Natural is on this coffee. You can find some green coffee, but I didn't see anyone currently that's actually roasting this coffee. But the Sampoi village, I actually did a lot of research. I'm telling you earlier, I spent an hour and a half trying to track this village down.
Yeah,
and there's
couldn't find it.
If you search it on Google, there's literally one thing comes up, but it's a district, but that's not what I was looking for. I'm looking for the village, and it was in the wrong part of the country, and I was like, they can't grow coffee at that altitude. Everything was wrong, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So eventually I found that there's two different things that say Sampoi, but the village has 575 villagers in it. So it's super, super small, super remote, and it took me forever to try to by tracking with altitude, looking for around 1,200 meters in the right region. I found the sub district, and then I contacted Lana Coffee, and finally I tracked down where the village was, because I was just interested in where is this coffee actually from. And considering it's such a small village and there was so little information, it was pretty interesting to me. But it is grown in the main coffee grown region of Thailand, which is Chiang Mai. So it's northern Thailand, like I said, close to Yunnan. So yeah, it'd be interesting seeing a Chinese natural to compare, because having similar growing conditions and stuff, it'd probably be kind of like this as well. But yeah. So one thing that I actually found when I was researching, I kept searching like Thailand coffee history, and like just every variation I could to try to get more information. There's not actually a lot of information about the history of Thailand's like coffee industry and stuff, and so I was like trying to get as much as I could, but result after result was just like this like Thai iced coffee. You ever had that before?
Yeah, I actually haven't had it, but I know it's kind of similar. It's called Cafe Baran.
Okay.
So it's super similar to like Vietnamese coffee, if you will. And so basically it's sold with a blend of dark roasted Robusta coffee, with brown sugar, corn, brown rice, sesame, soy, beans, salt, and butter. You place that in the mixture in a sock filter, and you pour boiling water over it, and you add sweetened condensed milk. And it's Thai iced coffee. So maybe we'll put it on a third wave seasonal drink, right?
Yeah.
So,
maybe.
Yeah.
We'll try to make a specialty version of it, swap out the Robusta. And then I don't know what a lot of the stuff like brown rice and sesame. I mean, something interesting. We'll have to definitely maybe try to track down like in the Asian like market, like try to find a mixture of it, and or buy some online and then try to see what it tastes like and see if we can't recreate it, but in a specialty version. That'd be cool. If so, we can definitely make a video and teach people how to do that at home. Because it'd be kind of being interesting to have something that is it's close to Vietnamese coffee, but to be able to represent coffees from different cultures is something we love. But also represent different countries and cultures by showing off a drink from them is like something we've done in the past. Like we had the I don't know if you ever had the Jim Jim.
I don't think I had that.
Okay, it was a West African drink with like pineapple and ginger, and it's really good. But it was like we had that for a while. I guess it was 2 summers ago.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
And then we actually had Thai tea.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had Thai tea and we made it traditionally, but then we put it on nitro to make it like completely way more like specialty, but also way changed the texture and made it easy to dispense also, of course. But
I know we had was it like the Korean shaved ice for
we had bingsu.
Bingsu. Sweetened condensed milk.
So we've actually done a pretty decent amount of like, I feel like a lot of like when I was opening the shop, a lot of the drinks, and I was like trying to find different things that we could like have on the menu, I would look up like different countries like drinks from around the world, and like we're about to do Turkish boza, which is like a fermented wheat and like bulgur drink that's kind of similar to it's got like a tang to it that's like it's like target like kind of like Greek yogurt. But it's gonna be like it'd be like a little bit thicker. It's not gonna be like drinking Greek yogurt. Don't worry, it's not gonna be kefir.
Oh gosh! Oh no, I hate kefir. It's so gross.
But sorry, I already knew that he hated kefir, and I was like, wait a second, it's gonna. But yeah, it's a very famous drink in Turkey. They drink it like fall and winter. So yeah, we're gonna be featuring that, and then we're featuring Sima. Right now on the menu, we're not before quarantine and all that. We were featuring Sima on the menu, which is a Finnish fermented lemonade. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of drinks from around the world because that was my major at Liberty was culture anthropology, and basically I love being able to show and highlight things from different cultures, and that's obviously one of the reasons why I started this podcast and this specific series of doing Strange Coffee Origins is being able to highlight something that's cool from a country.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, maybe it'll come to a third wave menu.
Yeah,
so
hopefully soon.
Yeah, we'll play with it, and then we'll get back to everyone. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode. So it's gonna be a little bit short this time, but yeah, just share it with your friends. Hit like and comment if you have any things that you have any questions on, or let us know if you found any Thai coffee as well, because we're definitely looking for more Thai coffee to try and maybe even import for the shop. And then also, comment below as well if you have a country that you're interested in seeing in the future. We have a pretty big list of countries and stuff, but we're looking for more countries to highlight for Strange Coffee Origins, and also just like looking for coffee from different origins that we haven't had before. So definitely let us know, and have a third wave day.
Have a third wave day.